Today I'm going to be showing you how to install and set up a Node.js application on our new world infrastructure. So first of all, you need to be logged in like I am, and then we'll just go to Languages, Node.js. Once we're there, we're going to set up a new application. You can see we don't have any current applications. We go first we have to pick a Node.js version. We're just going to take 5.8. And then we need an application directory. I'm just going to show a simple to-do application. So I'm just going to name it to-do. This is the directory it's going to live in. The domain is going to be our main domain. And the path, we actually now have to put it because we actually have already a Ruby application set up on our main site. This is our main site. So we can't actually, we need to put a path. We can't just put this or else it's going to give us an error message. It's going to say specified alias already used by Redmine. So what that means is there's an app that already lives at this root path. So we're just going to name it to-do. And it doesn't have to be the same name, but we just decided to do that out of convenience. We're going to save that. So when we refresh the page here, we're going to have our URL, which when we open, it should show us, so hello world from Node.js 5.8. So it should be the correct version. And now this is our sort of dummy application. So now what we need to do is actually set up a real application. So what we're going to do is go back and we're going to SSH onto the server. So how you do that is you go to the menu, go to Files, SFTP Accounts. This is our main account. It's going to be there for you already. You don't have to create it. And what we'll do is we're going to SSH the username at the host name. And then we'll just put also, for good measure, we'll put the port, even though 22 is the default port. It might not say 22 for you here. And then the password. And then we are on the server. So you should see that we have a to-do directory here. When we go in, we can see there's a app.js file. And what it does is just, it's just a basic application. It's just saying hello. And then what you notice here is normally you would put a port to like where you're listening. Because this is actually using Passenger as the application server, we need to use this special string here, passenger. And what that'll do is it'll just tell Passenger that we just want to hook up directly to it. And so make sure not to listen on a port. It won't work. You have to use this string passenger here. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to try this little sample application, this Node.js to-do app. It's and it's right here in the description. Simple Redis-backed to-do app. So there's a couple of things to do. We need to install Redis, and we also need to install all the dependencies of the application. So what we're going to do is we're going to pull down, let's just download a zipped copy of this. So we're going to use wget. Just download it. It's right here, master.zip. So we're going to unzip it. And that created our Node.js to-do master directory. So what I'm going to do now is, because of this sample app that came that was created for us to do, I'm just going to remove that. And then I'm going to rename or move this Node.js to-do master and call it to-do, because we do need a directory called to-do. That's still gonna be our application directory, because that's the one that we decided when we were setting it up here. When we go here, our app directory. So it still has to be named the same. So we're just going to go into it, and we're going to see that there's a server.js, and that's pretty much the that's what Node is going to load. Okay, so we need Redis. How are we going to do that? We don't have access to Redis. There's no, well, there actually is a Redis running. I was doing this before. I'm just going to kill it. So there is no Redis. We have none available, or Redis CLI, I believe it's called, Redis server. It doesn't exist. So we are going to download Redis. I'll show you how to do this. Download it. And download 3.0.7. We're going to copy that address. Okay. Redis, we're going to unzip it. And then go into it. And we can just read the README. It just says make, and then make install, just like a usual compilation. There's no configuration step here. You can see there's no, if we try, it's going to say it doesn't exist, no file. So make. Now we have full access actually to, in world shared hosting, we have full access to the compiler. So if you need MongoDB or any other thing that's not available actually on on the actual server, like MySQL is already available, but there is no shared Redis instance. You have to install it yourself. So this is what we're doing now. We're compiling it. And now we need to run make install. It also says that we can install it in any directory we want, which is actually what we want to do. If we try to run make install, it's going to try to install it into user local, and we don't have access to that. I'll just show you that right now. Make install, and it says error, cannot create this file, user local bin Redis server, permission denied. So we can't do that. And the way to do it is to give it a prefix. So we're actually going to make a directory called Redis, and we're going to install it into there. Okay, so it's installed into Redis. So we have this bin here and Redis server. There's our Redis server. It even tells us that we can run it and give it a configuration file, which is what we're going to do. We want it to run as a daemon. We don't want to have to keep this open all the time. We want it to run in the background. So I'm just going to show you how to do that. So right now we're in Redis bin. I'm going to go back one, and I'm going to create a redis.conf file. I'm going to put daemonize yes. I believe there's, let's just look at this, Redis conf file. Daemonize yes. PID file, that's fine. var run redis.pid. Port, we don't want to listen on a port, and this is important. We're going to put port 0, and because it says here, if port 0 is specified, Redis will not listen on a TCP socket. We don't want it to listen on a TCP socket. We want it to listen on a Unix domain socket. So the way you do that is right here. Unix socket, temp redis.sock, that's fine. So that looks good. Going to quit, go here, and run Redis server. Actually, I'll do it from here. Bin Redis server, and then I'm going to specify the full path to the conf file. So now we do have Redis running. And it's running as we can see if we go in Redis CLI. Okay, it says it can't connect because we need to actually give it the conf file, I believe. I'm not sure how to specify that we're okay, well, that's fine. We're just going to connect to it from the actual application. I can figure that out later. I'm sure you can too, in order to get the client to use the configuration file. Okay, so we have Redis. Let's go into our to-do app, and notice that there's this server.js file, and that's sort of what we're running. Now, we're using Passenger as the server, and Passenger expects a file called app.js by default. So we need to go into public HTML/to-do, because this is the name of our this is the path, the base path of our app. And you'll see here we have a .htaccess, and it's just pointing to our app. And it says passenger startup file app.js. We're going to switch this to server.js, just because I know that this the server.js file is the one that's actually going to listen and connect to Passenger. So this is important. We have to listen on a special, we have to put a special string here, Passenger, and that's just going to tell, just like the default, remember the dummy app had the same thing? So we have to do that as well. We have to put Passenger there. And now there's a couple of other things we're going to need to do. So here, what it's trying to do, because this sample app was created for Heroku, what it's trying to do is connect to Redis via a URL. Now we can't actually do that because these Unix domain sockets are local and they're not URLs. What I'm going to do is, it's not even going to get in here because we don't have this environment variable, Redis go to URL. I'm just going to change this to production, and I'm also going to change this to the path of the Unix domain socket, redis.sock. So this is going to connect through this socket. That's what we want. And okay. Now let's see where we are, what happens now when we try to when we refresh here, it's still doing the hello world thing. So what we're going to do is just restart the application. Oh, interesting. It says no file to do temp restart. That's because we actually, remember we removed our old dummy app? It needs this file. So what we're going to do is just make a temp and create a restart.txt. Now we can restart. Okay. We go here, we refresh. Okay, good. So we actually got an error here, and it says cannot find module express, which is normal because we forgot to run npm install, which is fine. So notice that we could just run npm install. It's actually not the right thing to do. What we have to do is load our application's virtual environment. This is sort of like a per project, sort of a sandbox per project. So we have to source, we just have to run, it says here, you must run the above command before performing any project-specific command line actions like running npm install. So we're going to source this, and now we can run npm install. Okay, so it installs all of our modules into this node modules here. And so what we're going to do is just touch this file, which restarts our application, which is the same thing as pressing this button. Then we're going to go back. Okay, good. So here we're running into an issue because this sample app, it's meant to be run as the root application, but the root application is actually Redmine, and we want this app to be living under to do, and this is sort of the base, the root URL of our app. So this small sample app, we have actually some things to fix with it, and what we're going to do is go into the server.js where they set up their routes, because this is actually the issue. Because we're running on the same, it's the same domain. These routes aren't actually going to match, so it has to always start with /todo. Now, normally in a larger application, there's going to be some sort of there's going to be some sort of configuration that you can do that'll say, like, base URL, and then you can just, or base path, and then you can just put /todo there. But this is just a sample app that I got off the net, and it doesn't actually have that as a configuration option. Okay. So I did that. Now I'm going to restart the app again. Go back. Okay. It looks like it's sort of loading, but if we go in our inspector, we can see that it's actually not loading any of the JavaScript, any of the CSS. So the problem with this is, again, that it lives under /todo. So here, when we're mapping our like this, when we're mapping, we just have to change this to /todo public, which is going to be our these are just express routes here. So once again, restart it, and it says, okay, it's still saying that it's not finding it, and this time the problem lies in actually the head of the HTML, because that's also not set up to. So it's a little bit annoying to have to do this, but at the same time, it's good to know what the problem is. And larger applications, or applications that you make from scratch, you won't have to deal with this, because large apps are just going to have configurations. And if you're doing it from scratch, you can just have a constant. That's your base URL, and then you can just have to change that, and that's it. Okay, good. So now there's only one thing missing, and it's these other EJS files, because it's trying to make an AJAX request, and these URLs, like I was saying, they're not going to resolve. So /todo. I'm just putting /todo in front of all of them, just so that it works. And it looks like I didn't miss any, but we'll see. Okay, so now we're getting no errors, load errors. So now we have Redis, so it should be able to save these to-dos in memory. So let's say I have to go shopping. There we go. I need to pay the bills. I need to, what else do I need to do? Learn Express.js. Okay. Learn Node Standard Library. Okay, good. So this appears to be working. We should be able to switch these. We should be able to edit them. And then also when we're done with them, I believe it just deletes them. And we refresh and we still see that we have them. So that's how to set up a Node application. It's not that complicated if you're familiar with the process. There's a couple of tricky things like the startup URL, the startup config file for passenger, and also just make sure that you always listen on this special string. Instead of giving it a port or a Unix domain socket, you listen on this string passenger. Should work. And the rest is fairly standard. We had to go through a little bit of hoops here, but I hope it was worth it. So, and normally if you're doing it on your main site, you're not going to have to change any of those URLs or any of the routing. It should just work out of the gate. Okay, great. Well, until next time. Thanks.